Hello everyone. I wanted to talk to you today about lodging a partner visa while you are in Australia. My name is Peter and I am with Easy Migrate located in Perth, Western Australia. So the first and key item you need to be sure of is that you have the ability to lodge an application, and that means there are no conditions on your visa which would stop an application going ahead. So some people come into the country maybe on a visitor visa and they'll have a condition 8503 on their visa which actually stops them lodging applications while you're onshore. So you need to check out your visa approval when you come into the country and make sure that there are no conditions stopping an application. So let's look at the criteria that you're going to have to meet. So firstly, the government's going to want to see that you've got a financial link. So do you have a joint bank account, or do you have two bank accounts that is separately but you're using them for the benefit of the relationship? Are you spending money from those accounts to pay electricity, water, telephone, rent, etc.? So if not, there's no point just having a joint bank account if you have one of those and not using it. And we see this often. People come in, oh yes, we've got a joint bank account. And we look at it, there's not a transaction listed from day one. It's a total waste of time for everything. So make sure that you're using your joint bank account or using your separate accounts for the benefit of the relationship. Other things that you might want to look at: who's the beneficiary of your superannuation policy? Well, generally, if you're in a relationship, that would be your partner. There's no point saying, well, my parents are the beneficiary or my brother is the beneficiary, because when you're in a relationship, that doesn't look so great. Other things where you might have that financial link. I mentioned before paying things like telephone, paying rent, paying your electricity bill. There are those sorts of things which do create the financial link. So you need to make sure that you have evidence of those sorts of things. Secondly, we're looking at the social aspect of the relationship. So if I check you out on Facebook, am I going to see that you are not in a relationship? Okay, well that's probably not good, is it? So you need to change those sorts of things. And if I see the two of you walking down the street, would I say, yes, that is a couple, they look like they're in a relationship? Or would I say, well, there's just two people walking down the street? So how do your friends view you? Do your friends see you as a partnership, as a couple? And would at least two of them write a statement verifying that they believe your relationship is genuine? So there are critical issues. The third thing we want to look at is the nature of your house. So firstly, do you live together? If you don't live together, why not? So there's got to be a good reason. As long as you're not living apart on a permanent and ongoing basis, then it's okay. And an example of that might be someone who's a fly-in, fly-out worker, and they live up in Karratha for 6 months of the year and 6 months in Perth, but at various times. Or someone who gets on an expedition to Antarctica and goes away for 12 months. Well, clearly you're not living together at that point, but the intention would be that when you come back you will be living together. And remember, you're still then contributing to the household. So as long as you're not living apart on a permanent and ongoing basis, then you should be okay. If you're living in the next door suburb, there's got to be some reason why you're not living together. The fourth part of it is your commitment to each other, your genuine commitment to each other. There's no point if we look on Facebook and see that you've got 44 boyfriends or girlfriends. That's not going to go down very well. So your commitment to each other is critical. And how you demonstrate that? Well, look, you might already be married, and therefore that's a clear indication that you have a commitment to each other. But in the absence of anything else, just being married is not going to get you a partner visa. You need to make sure you meet the other three requirements: financial, social, and nature of your household. You might be in a long-standing relationship, so you might not actually be married, but be in a long-standing relationship. You might have a registered relationship if you're from one of the states that has those. So, that's how you demonstrate your commitment to each other, your long-standing commitment to each other. So remember, when you're lodging this application, you're going to be paying the immigration department somewhere in the region of $7,800. So you don't want to purposely get into a situation where they refuse your visa and you have to go into an appeal. because you've just doubled your cost, more than that. So you're currently going to be, as I said, spending about $7,800. If you're using an agency, registered migration agent, which if you're doing it, we would encourage you to do that, then that's going to be a fee on top of that, and your agent will be bound to advise you in writing before they start the process and how they're going to deduct that money from your account or from your credit account. So there's a few things that I said before that you need to make sure that you dot all those I's and cross all those T's. Don't just go into it with a laissez-faire attitude and think, well, everything will be all right. Immigration's on my side. They're not. They're out there to make sure that you've lodged a genuine application, that you can prove what you claim. And in the absence of that proof, you're going to have your visa refused, and that's not going to make you a very happy person. So nobody needs that sort of stress. What happens when you lodge your application? You are granted a bridging visa A, and this bridging visa, commonly called BVA, stays with you until immigration decides your application. And remember, this is probably going to take 2 years before this comes up. So the bridging visa is critical, and it allows you to stay in Australia while your visa is being processed. More importantly, it gives you access to Medicare, and it'll give you access to unlimited work rights once your bridging visa is in effect. So if you come into the country on a visitor visa, and a visitor visa is for 3 months or 6 months, your bridging visa will not take effect until 6 months and 1 day. If you're on a student visa and your visa doesn't expire till the 15th of March 2022, then your bridging visa is not going to come into play until that time. And you're going to have to continue studying. Remember, there are things attached to your visa that require you to remain enrolled in a course. Don't ever think about having a visa cancelled without seeking some sort of advice from your consultant or from your registered migration agent. So look, that's it in as little time as I can take. I could go on for hours. I would encourage you to seek professional advice before you lodge an application. We have a free consultation service. It's not for hours, but it's a 10-minute consultation service. And then if you want to come and see us, we can run you through the whole process. Our details are at the bottom of the video here. So if you'd like to contact us, we'll be more than happy to help you out. Thanks again for watching, and look for our other videos which will be coming up soon.